Hey, Chef Ro here. Today I'm going to teach you how to fold a papillote. It's a parchment paper bag that most people think of when it comes to fish because that is what is cooked most commonly in there. But you can also do this with vegetables or other meats, but it gets a little trickier if it's not something that's very quick cooking. Some people do try and do this with aluminum foil, and that's okay. The thing is, you just have to think about, you don't want to put anything acidic on aluminum foil. There's a reaction that happens. So no wine, no tomatoes, no lemons, and those are the kinds of ingredients that I usually like to put in my papillote, so I can't use aluminum foil. Plus, with aluminum foil, because aluminum foil conducts heat, one side of your item, whatever it is that you're cooking in there, will cook faster than the rest. The thing that's touching the pan is going to cook faster than the top. And while that does kind of happen anyway, it's going to really be amplified with that aluminum foil. So parchment really is the best option here. And there's several ways to do it. I've seen people fold it like I'm going to show you. I've seen people just take a square and pull it up and tie it with twine like a package. Which is really cute to put on the plate as a presentation. But I'm going to show you the traditional way that we would fold this packet around our fish. First things first, you're going to need to channel your inner kindergartner. Remember when we used to draw hearts and cut them out of paper? So you can see the only difference is that I didn't go down here to make the top of the heart. But you're just going to trace it around this. Now, if you don't want to do this step, I have still successfully done it with squares, but this will make a prettier package on your plate if you want to do that. Now, the one thing to keep in mind, though, is if you did draw on it with like a Sharpie, like I did here, so that I could see it well, you want to make sure, see how I'm cutting right inside the line, because otherwise you're going to have Sharpie on your food. Okay, I have my parchment paper cut here. So I'm going to open him back up. Okay, now we're only going to work on half of it at a time, and if it keeps curling on you like this, you can always fold it back in half so that it'll sit a little bit flatter and be a little easier to work with. And once we start getting things on here, it'll help as well. I generally put my strongest flavored items on the bottom so that it's the furthest away from my fish, because fish can pick up flavors very quickly. So though I want the flavor of, for example, a lemon in there, I don't want it straight against the fish. So I'm going to take my lemon slices and put them down first. Now I'm going to put my vegetables. So you can see that I have cut my vegetables very, very thinly. This is some fennel that I'd like in here. Okay, I've cut them very, very thinly because this is only going to be in the oven for maybe 10 to 15 minutes. So we need to get it to cook very quickly. If they're not cut thinly, they will not cook in time. Okay, one way you can deal with that is you could always pre-cook your vegetables before you put them in there, but the beauty of this recipe is that all you have to clean is one sheet pan, and that's the joy of it, right? Okay, now I'm going to put some leeks because I like leeks. They make me happy. Okay, now you want to make sure that we do season our vegetables as well, just a little bit, right? Some salt and some pepper. Okay, then I'm going to put a couple of fresh herbs. I'm going to use some basil here, some thyme, okay, and some fresh oregano, but you can use whatever herbs you like. And you don't have to use fresh herbs either. If you'd like to use dry herbs, always remember to use half of what the recipe calls for. Now, since I used fennel on the bottom too, I'm going to put a couple extra fennel fronds in there, because why not? Okay. Now it's time to add my protein. I've got all my flavorings, I've got all my vegetables, everything here. So now I'm going to add my fish. Now this is sole, so I'm going to do 2 layers of it. If you had a thicker fish, you would only put 1 piece on top here. Now I want to season this, but because I just touched raw fish, I don't want to put my hands back in the salt. So I'm going to wash my hands real quick, come back and show you what we'll do next. Okay, I'm ready now to season my fish with some salt and pepper. And I'm also going to use something called herbe de Provence. It's an herb and spice blend that you can find at the grocery stores. It has a little bit of lavender in it. I'm going for a very provincial feel here on the fish, so this is an excellent source to add. Now there's a couple of other things that I want to add on top of my fish. I'd like to add a couple of tomatoes here and a couple of olives, right? Because I want that to be what you see when you first open the packet. That way you can really see all the ingredients that I'm trying to do. Okay, that's why those go on top. All right, now it's time to fold. We're going to turn this around and we're going to fold it over. You can see that I got a little hungry and I'm going to be pushing it, but I can still get it closed. Now we're going to fold triangles. So you're going to start here and make a triangle and press it firmly. Then see, I make another triangle. And I'm just going to continue making triangles all the way around, as you can see here, until I get to the end of my fish. Once I've gotten all the way around, you want to go back and just kind of snug up any of these corners, because what we're trying to do is create a steaming environment for our fish. That way, if you have this and it's not closed tightly, all of that lovely flavor that we're trying to keep in and flavor the fish with is going to pour right out. Okay, now when you've got this tiny little hole open here at the end, this is where you can add in a little bit of liquid if you like. I like to add in maybe a little white wine, maybe a little stock, whatever flavoring you're trying to do. Okay, then we're just going to finish doing this. Now, this is very important. This last little one here, you tuck it under like this. And now you can see I've got a nice, tight papillote. Once you've got your papillote folded, you want to put it on a preheated sheet pan, because we want to take all the liquid that's in there and we want to flash steam it. So I put my sheet pan in the oven as I turn it on. That way, by the time my oven's preheated, my tray is also very, very hot. I put this on there. Depending on how thick the product is, it's going to depend on how long it's in the oven. I have my oven at 425 degrees so that it steams very quickly. And this thickness of fish, since I put two together, we're probably looking at about 15 minutes to get it fully done. The easy way to test is you just push a little bit on the top of the paper, and it feels like, if it feels like the fish is starting to flake a bit, you are done. Take it out of the oven, put this packet straight on the plate, and let your guests or your family or whoever you made this for open that paper and get all that fragrance that you've put the work into. I hope you've enjoyed learning how to make a papillote.